game like that with Northwestern shooting the lights out of it, you pounding the ball into Edie. You sat on the bench for quite a while. I was watching you, just watching the flow of the game. What were you thinking about while this was going on?
Yeah. Well, when it's that loud, like if you think standing up there and trying to say something, like they're actually going to hear you, it's like you're wasting your time, even though I've wasted my time before. Just two totally different, styles of play, right? Doesn't mean that we don't try to shoot threes, because we do, but, just trying to use him as much as we can, because we think we have an advantage. I think we have an advantage almost every game, if not every game. But, just trying to be able to do that. The thing for us was trying to keep our morale up, because they made some tough shots, but we did positive things, and then we missed free throws. So, but you're doing good things. You're like, hey, what should we run here? Like, keep running what you're doing. And we've outscored 50 points in the first half. We would have came close to that if we could have made free throws in the second half. And it would have changed the game, but we didn't. But and so for us, it was just trying to keep those guys positive and keep playing, and just taking the shots that, at times they would overdo it and we'd get an open look, and we just had to hang in there and stay with it. Very fortunate to win. Boo Booey, makes that 7, 8 out of 10 times on that floater. That's his, and that's his too. Like, he's not taking a shot that, he's average at right there. Like, he's one of the best, intermediate shooters in college basketball.
Matt, you went zone briefly.
Yes.
You subbed in and out quite a bit, defense for offense.
Right.
Did you kind of feel like you have to have matchups here throughout the course of the game to come out with a win against that team?
Yeah, we just, had a handful of possessions where if he was going to ISO us, we were just going to load up. And once he passed it, we were going to go match and go back to man. We had a breakdown on one, and they made a three. Another one, I just thought they just made a tough shot, and then he missed a floater on the other one. So, our attention to detail I didn't think was very good, because their guard scored 71 points against us, 3 people before. So we have a high opinion of them. So it's not like our guys don't have respect for them or whatever, but you can't let Ty Berry come off things and get into a rhythm. You can't let, Boo Booey do that. Now, some of the ones they made, especially Boo, like, those are tough ones. Like, you live with those. Like, you just live with them. Like, there's 3 or 4 of them that you just live with. He's that good. But the other ones, like, you're in between a switch, you're late on a switch, you get beat off the bounce, and now you're trying to recover. Like, we just had to do a better job, and we didn't. But with all that being said, give them credit. They were really good and really efficient offensively.
Matt, did Braden play like one of the top 10 point guards in the country? And what did you think about, especially in overtime? I think he had like 4 or 5 assists in the basket.
Yeah, he's fabulous. He's got great vision. He sees things. He sets guys up for threes. He understands what they're doing and what we're looking for. We obviously want to look for Zach as much as we can, but then when they take that away, it opens up other things. But I thought Braden had a fabulous game, made some really nice decisions in ball screens. We slipped out there a couple times in the overtime, and were able to get a couple of those dunks. And we didn't stay, as long in the ball screen. But no, Braden's a really good player. And it's, Bob Knight said that basketball is watched by millions and understood by few. So if you think that, he's the 11th best point guard in the country, I hope you get a job in the Big Ten. At least we'll get 2 wins.
Matt, back here.
2 and 18 would be great, right? Boy, that guy's good. Yes,
Matt,
sir, go ahead.
Lance has obviously been playing good ball, 17 points in 4 of his last 5 games. Just what have you seen from him in the last couple of weeks?
He was so good down the stretch. Those threes, when they go up 5 or 6, he was so good. They had us right there. Like, if they can get a stop and then another score, which they were scoring every time. We were doing positive things. We just weren't making our free throws. So that was trying to, don't get away from what we're doing. We're going to make them. But no, Lance's, those 2 threes he made there, he just gives us another element. He gives us that speed and quickness, competitiveness, very, very competitive. But I thought he made some huge plays for us. Then he made his free throws down the stretch. I didn't realize he had 26 points. I'd have let him shoot those free throws to get 30, but Mason sacrificed so much for us. He's a starter and comes off the bench for us, so I wanted to reward him.
Matt, over here.
Thank you.
It's every coach I've ever asked about free throws has some variation of, well, get in the gym and shoot more. But
Right.
there's a big difference between shooting in the gym and pressure free throws that you
Right.
had in the second half of this game. What kind of approach can you take to dealing with the pressure of free throws and
Yeah.
key situations?
Well, if that's it, and it's not, mechanical, like you go and look at their mechanics and see, Zebo lets the ball come off the side of his hand, so whenever he misses, he doesn't stay under it. So that's what I'm always talking to him about, like stay under it, stay under it. And that's where he normally misses in his free throws. Trey just has to get in rhythm right there. I thought Trey did some really good things. But I can't have two guys out there that's splitting free throws or missing front ends of 1-and-1. So he got stuck, and, we went back with Mason. But, we do pressure free throws in practice, but, it's not 14,000 people, right? And sometimes at home is a little different because, everybody tries to go quiet because they don't want to, you kind of get used to that noise or you get used to whatever. But just go back in the lab and work on it. Like there's no, when you shoot well or you shoot poorly, you still work on it. That's what the great ones do. The great ones always work on what they're doing. You have a good game, and then, you don't relax. You keep working, you keep getting better. And so, like, I never get too worried about it, just because, like, if you blow an assignment or you don't do what you're supposed to, like, I got a problem with it. You know what I mean? We prepare, we talk, you're intelligent, you got to know what you're doing. But when a guy misses a free throw, no one's trying to miss a free throw. Like, I'm always positive with them. Like, unless they have something mechanical, that they're making a mistake. Because now you get into the psychic if you talk to them about, what they're doing. Like Coach Lusk, one of our assistants, he works with Trey every day. Every day. So, like, I don't say anything to him, because I don't go down there and talk to him while he shoots those all the time. Zach's been with us. He's got into it. And so, like, I say something to him because I've always said something to him because when he first got here, he wasn't a good free throw shooter, and now he is. And I know this is a tough game, but he'll get it corrected. He always does.
This might be redundant to what you already said about Braden, but can you just speak to his basketball mind, the way he was
Yeah.
picking apart their ball screen coverage to start the game, and then when they did different things, he seemed to have answers on the fly?
Yeah. P.J. Thompson does a great job with our offense, and it's great because he ran our offense. He was a point guard. So they spend a lot of time together. And P.J.'s really, helped him, and he's got a very natural instinct to make the right play. But sometimes he wants to make it directly all the time. What I mean by that, he wants to make the pass that leads to the basket all the time, when at times he's got to do it indirectly and move the ball. And so, like, he had 16 assists, but how many did he have, like a hockey assist, right? Or think about how many times he passed it and we got fouled. So if we make those shots instead of getting fouled, like this could be an astronomical number. So, like, he does a great job. When we, like, started recruiting him, and I talked to another college coach, that other assistant coach called him a basketball savant. And I was like, it's a big statement, right? About, you know what a savant is. Like, you're a genius, like you're a basketball, like, but if you look at, like, how he makes decisions and how he does things, like, he's pretty elite when it comes to that. Sometimes you want more, and being simple is just good enough. So he gets caught up in that sometimes of doing a little bit too much, but he's got to pull up three. He's got to pull up in the lane. He can get to the basket and make a layup. He can pass to the big. He can throw lobs. He can, the passes he makes with one hand across the court, like, he knows what they're doing, right? You still got to see it. It's no different than a quarterback. A quarterback has his progressions, and you watch football games, and you check things down. It's no different with the basketball. There's 11 people, obviously, and we got 5. So, like, you're staring at 4 people. You can't ignore the person guarding you, but you're just seeing what they're doing. You've watched film. You know what they're probably doing. You get into the feel of the game. That's when he can really take over. He can really take over there because he gets a feel of what the other team is doing.
Matt, we can pretty much talk about Zach Edey's greatness after every game. 2,000 points last game. This game, 41 and a half minutes, 30 points, and he's able to dominate in overtime despite being 7'4", 300 pounds.
Right.
Just how unique and just
Yeah.
how great is he?
Yeah, he's a special player. He plays hard. He gives his best, and he doesn't pick his spots. A lot of times when you have guys that are that big and carrying that much cargo, they'll pick their spots. It's hard for him. But he runs the court. He plays ball screen defense. He rebounds. He posts hard. He gives it to you. And so that's what he's kind of stoic. Like, you'll see him and you'll be like, is he going to be ready? he's always ready. He doesn't always look ready, but he's always ready. He's a very competitive person. And so like now, like, you know, he sees the end of the rainbow, right? Like he sees each day, you know, the improvement and getting better. And sure, the accolades, you know, 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, they speak for themselves. There's nobody on that list that's a bad basketball player. Like those are all great players. That's production, right? But like he just keeps going. And it's, you know, I feel bad, but I just don't like him out of the game, to be frank with you. That's the genius in me, right? Like I mean, it's like we should have more depth there. I just don't like him out of the game. Like you know who wants him out of the game? Yeah, that other team. That's who wants him out of the game. So,
Just to follow up real quick on what you were just talking about with Braden, what people are doing to him off ball screens now, sticking their big to him, that's the product of him making those pull-up jumpers in
Correct.
November and December, right?
correct, exactly right. Yeah, so him, a lot of people playing in drop, which we play in drop, you know, with Zach. Zach's not gonna get out there and get that aggressive. You know, when you get and you play elite people and they're in that drop and he can make those pull-up threes and he can make that, now he has the smorgasbord, right? So he just keeps taking them and making them, taking them and making them. Now they're like, okay, we gotta put pressure on him as a passer and we gotta eliminate that. And that's where he's not gonna always get a direct assist. You know, that's where he's gotta get the ball moving and get the ball back and get it moving. And now those guys can bust people on closeouts or just get those hockey assists and get those step-in threes.
So, Matt, Ethan Morton, 20 minutes, no shots, but he's tasked with guarding Boo Booey and
Right.
Todd Barry. Does it ever mess with a player when they have such a defense-first role, especially
Right.
with Ethan's background of being just a scorer?
Right. Yeah, I think a little bit. You know, why wouldn't it? Just human behavior. But, you know, Ethan is about winning.